Okay, this is Anodyne 2. It's my favourite game of 2019. I'm gonna play it, and yeah, maybe say some things about it along the way. And the first thing that happens is we get a lovely letter from... It says, "Dear player, thank you for playing Anodyne 2 Return to Dust. It is somewhat of a spiritual successor. It has narrative and thematic ties to the first Anodyne, but features a completely new world and characters. That is to say, the two games can be enjoyed in any order. At times, the world of Anodyne 2 may be a strange or confusing place, but at its heart is a story of human struggles and relationships. Now, come on, let's go on a curious and wonderful journey together. Sean Hantani and Marina Kataga." I mispronounced that, which is a terrible way to start. Who are the devs of the game. Lovely letter from them to start the game. And let's do that. And a figure with a stringed instrument says, "Some say that life is a circle. Madness. All things grow from a point, a centre. Everything to come was already here. It melts out from a tiny capsule like a sponge in bloom. The beauty is to witness the true shape of the primordial point, its fractals unfurled to their limits, the atomic indivisible tips of its tentacles. Time, after all, is a looking glass, an illusion, and yet the truest way to see ourself." The figure with it's joined by a figure with a beautiful voice. I'm not going to try to imitate a beautiful voice. I don't have a beautiful voice. The beautiful voice says, "Stunning words as always, friend. But let's not get too ahead of ourselves. The one we are here to meet is barely a baby, not yet hatched. We must lead her gently into the bright light of the world. Oh look, our precious Nova seems to be stirring." The following are the first words that Nova will ever hear. In time, the contents of the speech will fade into obscurity, but she will never forget first hearing this voice. Ah yes, this voice, so fragrant, so beautiful that Nova felt like crying. Had she been blessed with tear ducts, perhaps she would have. You may have forgotten how hard it is when you first realise that you exist. Nova certainly felt that now. But when she heard this creature speak, she thought, perhaps it might be worth it. "Nova, Nova, can you hear me? Take a deep breath, my darling, then open your eyes." Sounds of the sea. From the darkness an orange glow, and from the silence the crashing of waves. And a girl who does not want to get up in the morning, which is a mood. There she is. Still a little woozy, are you? Don't worry, it's natural to feel disoriented when you first gain consciousness. Child, your name is Nova, and you are an extraordinary creature with the unique ability to shrink to microscopic sizes. It will come in quite handy, as you'll soon see. My name is Palisade, and I'm here with Sea Psalmist. Together we will serve as your caretakers and your guides. It's Palisade, or the Shield. Sweet voice, definitely lifts, will fight for you. And Sea Psalmist, who has a very silly hat. Dedicated songwriter, awkward around kids, kind of a nerd. Mommies? Mommies is the key theme of this game. We will be questing for mommies for like the next 10 hours. But apparently they are not mommies, they are caretakers and guides. Would you like to say hello to Nova, Sea Psalmist? Says Palisade. Greetings, young Nova. It is I, Sea Psalmist. I am speaking to you from outside of your egg. Ahem. Space, after all, is an illusion. It could be likened to a looking glass. A looking glass is a mirror, by the way. I used to think it was a telescope or a microscope. You know, some kind of tube-shaped object. Thank you for that enlightening clarification, Sea Psalmist. Now, Nova, as Sea Psalmist mentioned, you are currently inside of your egg. In order to hatch and truly begin your life, you will ride the hatchline monorail that leaves from the top of the hill. But you can only leave if you obtain the sacred Glandilock seed. For now, you may think of the Glandilock seed as your ticket to ride. First, speak to the 3 yoke figures. Each yoke will give you a special item that will prepare you to host a Glandilock seed. Then, speak to the Chalaza tree at the highest point on the island. Go get him, Nova. Slight weirdness at the end there, but just some controller information, which I'm not going to narrate. I replayed this recently, so I think I remember all the controls. Hop on Palisade. So yeah, this is a PlayStation 1 styled game for at least for the overworld areas. I think these areas are absolutely beautiful, and has strong themes of family or critique of the family, which is mostly what I'm going to be focusing on. Also, lots of stuff about capitalism, which we'll get to. I'm going to try to keep narrating just for the sake of having stuff read out and not relying on the on-screen dialogue and making sure I don't skip through it too quickly. But I might run out of voices and or my voice quite quickly, so we'll see how that goes. The strange figure is silent. Is it alive? Nova wonders. Nonetheless, its gaze beckons her. Enter my round golden pate, it seems to say. Ye shall find a part of this complete breakfast. The yoke and Nova's fate begin to resonate. The presence of a new nanopoint is in the air. Spark this being and reveal its nanopoint. Shrink forth, nanocleaner Nova. And there's the actual instructions. So we zap this dude with our zappy thing. And that enables us to disappear inside it. Which brings us to the Yoke of Yummy. Where we meet the Yolkrobes. Or Yokrobes, I guess. And Yokwanda says, Wowie, our very own cleaner has come to visit. Oh gosh, and I'm the first nano friend she'll see. Boy howdy, gotta keep it together and remember my lines. I hope she comes over here and presses Y to talk to me. Okay, that's instructions. I'm going to talk to the rock first. The rock says, Welcome, rocks are surprisingly diverse and come in a number of shapes and sizes, though by divine fate many of the rocks here look the same. Be sure to talk to all of us, and I shall. Hey there, Nova, you've shrunk inside the microscopic interior of the Yoke of Yummy, the most important yoke of them all, of the day. Here you'll find provisions to keep your future Glandilock seed happy and healthy. Indeed I will. Save point. Nova will love our Cranberry Burst cereal because it contains trace amounts of 17 micronutrients in central recommended ratios, and Glandilock seed will love its patented crunchy cool taste. I don't quite know what's going on with this bit, I have to admit. But, I mean, you gotta have a breakfast to start your day. There are some colourful rock-like obstructions blocking your path. Try using your nano vacuum to suck stuff out of the way. Which you do like so. What if we had a Glandilock seed of our very own? Never mind me, we may talk a big game here in the Yoke of Yummy, but the development of delicious and nutritious crispy puffed comestibles is all we know. So they make cereal. Sometimes rocks get in the way, but other times they can be very helpful. Don't paint every rock with a broad brush, is all I'm saying. Unless you paint them really cool. A lady at my church painted a rock so it looked like a tiger with little whiskers and everything. Pretty neat. That would be pretty neat. This game is very charming. It gets less charming as we go on. It gets kind of creepy and dark and scary, but we'll get to that. Congratulations, you are truly deserving of our greatest Glandilock food. Cartoon characters will suffer many fraught encounters due to the high quality of our Centerberry Burst cereal, but we can tell you will be a good steward of your Glandilock seed. Let's get the cereal. There we go, Century Burst cereal, one of the 3 elements of nurturing. Means the Glandilock seed will have all the carbs it needs to make a home in Nova's head. Right, one down. Here's the second one. You have to talk to these before you can zap them. The second yolk figure sways in the breeze with a profound sense of chill. Dude, it seems to say, riding the milky waves. I'm not going to try to do a surfer voice. The yolk and Nova Sway begin to resonate. The person new nanopoints in the air. Sparks being revealed. It's nanopoint. Shrink forth. Nano clean and over. And we come to the Yoke of Sippy. Sippy Yoke. Yo, Nova, welcome to the Yoke of Sippy. Some people say that a Glandilock seed ought to drink 8 dewdrops of our homemade Sippy yolk milk per cell cycle, but we here in the Sippy zone think you can chill with the math and just go with the flow. Sippy Yoke Grove. The Glandilock seed is like a direct line to the centre, you dig? Just keep your mind open, you know, and the answers will find you. Wanted dust virus. Mr. Spiky, he may just sit there, but this virus has been shouting some very rude comments at our poor yolk robes. Try shooting a block at him, and be sure to suck up any dust he might leave behind. Bam. Whoops. I'm really bad at 2D games, this kind of 2D Zelda stuff. Nothing like a little sippy yolk milk to make those Glandilock tendrils grow deep and strong. Just ride that high, Nova, ride that high. Get out of the way, thank you. We're going to be killing a lot of slimes, by the way, in this game. Nova, you made it to the yolk milk, of course. You just relaxed and let it flow. Am I right? Sort of. I had to kill some dudes to get it. There's the sippy yolk milk, one of the 3 elements of nurturing. With it, a Glandilock seed will have all government-approved nutrients needed to spread far and wide inside Nova's head. Yes, they are going to plant a seed in our brain. So that will be fun. And one more yolk robe to go. The final yolk figure seems to gaze upon Nova with a warm yet analytical eye. Yes, it seems to say. A perfect host in need of a perfect reguloid. Let's go and find out what a reguloid is. Comes from the Yoke of Cozy. Sounds like my kind of place. Except for the whole egg thing. I'm not a big fan of eggs. Welcome to the Yoke of Cozy. Yes. Are you feeling comfortable? Yes. We have carefully trained these reguloids to adapt the local atmosphere to your body's precise partialities. Temperature, salinity, acidity, lugubrity, and so forth. I meant to look at what lugubrity is, and I forgot. Here's a reguloid. It says woof woof, which translates as temperature 36 degrees, yolk in height. Yes. A little cereal, a little yolk milk, yes, such things are quite necessary. However, as the old saying goes, Glandilock seed cannot live on ingestion alone. So each of the different yolks thinks it's the most important one. A chasm separates you and those darn dust viruses. You're too far away to suck them up, but perhaps there is another way to get rid of them now. And there is. The slimes are too cute to kill. I'm going to feel really bad killing them on stream. Didn't bother me too much when I was just playing the game ordinarily, but... So this reguloid keeps the air humidity level to 5%. No, keeps the humidity level to a 5% success rate for a fish trying to breathe, which seems like it'd be a rather heavier humidity than 5%. I see how this level works. It's a figure 8. Here we go. Ah, yes indeed. It is time for you to have reguloids of your very own. How beautiful to become a home. May your head always be a safe and warm resting place for the precious Glandilock seed. Yes. So that's important. I'd have forgotten that guy says that like the specific invocation of Nova becoming a home for the Glandalok seed. We'll get to why that's important. And this reguloid gives us golden summer light, dappled by oak leaves, the scent of freshly bruised crabgrass and dandelions. An unexpected cool breeze drifts in from across the lake. A tawny rabbit sits up and sniffs before hopping into the bushes. Some good regulation, that. Nova found a reguloid, personal edition, another one of the 3 elements of nurturing. The reguloid will adapt Nova's head into the perfect environment for a thriving Glandalok seed. So that's us done with yolks. Quick save. And here's the tree. That's the Glandalok seed. Ah, Nova. After all this time, we meet at last. Ah. I hope that doesn't sound really creepy, actually. That probably does. Nova, hey! What were we talking about? Oh, right. I am the ancient Chalaza tree, keeper of sacred knowledge of the Albumen shore. From the day you washed up on our shores, I have chronicled your journey, and oh, what a journey it has been! Reflect with me upon those sweet and daring stories that now drift upon the hazy river of the past. Do you remember the blustery, cereal-obsessed yoke of yummy inhabitants that we saw 5 minutes ago? The laid-back denizens of the yoke of Sippy. How about those kind and conscientious caretakers of the yoke of Cozy? Ah, I have laughed, I have cried, I have praised for wisdom to bless your decisions. Your thunderous triumphs and your arduous struggles shall be etched into my branches for all eternity. And now you have arrived here at the pinnacle of Mount Vitaline, from which one can survey the furthest reaches of this expansive land. Have you the 3 elements of nurturing? Ah, wonderful. Then my epoch of anticipation is complete. Nova, I grant to you the Glandalok seed. And now, Nova, it is time. Already I can feel my power fading. The age of Albumen draws to a close. Quickly, Nova, lay yourself down upon the hatch line, and with the last of my energy I will send you to the great beyond. And so we've made it to Anodyne 2 Return to Dust. That's the egg. And so we come to the center, or center sanctuary. There you are, darling hatchling. I knew you could make it. Welcome to Alive. Nova, you are in Center Sanctuary, the dwelling place of the Center. The Center is, well, it's hard to explain to someone who's only just hatched, isn't it? The Center is the Center. It created all of us, along with our world, the island of New Theland. The Center is like an artist, and we are its painting, a beautiful expression of its vision. By the way, I can't tell whether it's supposed to be New Theland or New the Land, and it's a joke. I'm just going to trample all over the joke. Whatever. Other important thing there is Palisade refusing to make the effort to try to explain the Center to Nova in clear terms. The Center is everything, or rather, the Center simply is. Our lives are like shadows cast by the Center's true form, which will one day become apparent. The Center. It's the Center. Creator of New Theland, painter, shadow puppeteer, literally everything. Confused Plato analogy, or complicated unnecessary Plato analogy. Definitely not mommy. probably not by the end of the game a figure beyond comprehension either. We're gonna understand the centre by the end. Perhaps we are all the artists and art of New Theland. We shape and are shaped by each other. By treating our neighbours with kindness, we can build each other up. Well, I don't know if I'd go that far, Palisade. What good we may accomplish flows directly from the rightness of the centre. Regardless, we must focus. Nova, listen closely. I will now reveal to you your true purpose, and the path ahead. You have been born into a war zone, Nova. Granted, it is not a contest of swords or guns or armies or infantry. We wage a war that is nearly invisible and yet wholly insidious. We face a deadly force that wrinkles the face of time as a lurking water beast ripples the surface of a lake, disrupting the clear reflection of our souls. Sea Psalmist talks too much and I'm running out of breath. 1 second. We call it nanodust. Spooky noises. It starts small, a microscopic seed planted in some dark, moist corner of one's organs. Then the nanodust grows. It feeds upon the structure of our minds, magnifying our fears, our wrath, our wrongful desires. Eventually it blossoms to its full scale, completely obliterating the identity of its host. Symmetry, beautiful symmetry, is our birthright as creations of the centre, and yet we lose ourselves in the dust. We begin to decay, to decompose, to crumble. Dust begets dust, and we forget our true selves. Forsake, not forget. Nova, perhaps your true purpose is now becoming apparent. You were given the ability to shrink and to clean, so you might reverse the tide of dust that threatens to overwhelm us. You must travel far and wide, shrinking inside the inhabitants of New Theland, those most consumed by the dust's contamination. Suddenly, a tiny spark flies towards Nova's head. What's that? Palisade card, activate! Palisade creates a barrier using her shield, containing the spark in a glowing cube. A nano-intruder, attempting to infiltrate your body. Nova, I can contain it temporarily, but you must shrink to nanoscale and destroy it. Don't be afraid, sweetheart. I'll be right here. I know you can do it. So remember this moment. This moment is important for later. But in the meantime, we're going to go and fight the first boss. Here we go. So this is kind of the typical way that gameplay will happen. We will shrink inside something and there'll be enemies to fight and dust to collect. I'm going to try not to be completely cack-handed about how I play. But I'm quite bad at the game, so... There's a dusty Yokrub. Nova, is that you? How did I get here? Cough, cough. Am I going to be okay? I'm so tired, Nova. I've never felt like this before. I'm scared. Poor baby. So, what we've been told so far is that the dust is bad news. And here we are, is a nano-assassin. Cough, cough, Nova will die. The centre will crumble. Dust will consume New Theland. Cough. So what we've got to do now is try not to get hit too much by this guy. Stop shooting me. Nova will die, the centre will crumble, dust will consume New Theland. Fairly simple boss, I still managed to suck at it. The Nano Cleaner. She exists and she was born to dust, to clean, to rescue. May she protect all of us from harm. May the Nano Cleaner save New Theland and its denizens from their fate. You're growing up so quickly. I didn't expect a challenge like this for quite some time, but I am so proud of you. Sadly, there are those who would seek to destroy New Theland. Though we are all created by the Center, the nanodust can inflict a kind of madness. Now, perhaps, you can see the urgency of your mission. Nova, take the elevator behind you up to the city, and always remember that you stand against the ever-encroaching crawl of degradation. Okay, so before we do that, just gonna pop over here and deposit some dust. The lower dust drop Nova. I'll show you how to use it soon, but first take the elevator outside. Okay, I can't. I thought I was being clever and getting ahead of things. But yeah, so what we're being told about dust is that it's bad, it's corrupting, it makes your emotions run out of control, it disrupts your religious kind of devotion to the Center. Welcome to Center City Cenote. Again, pronunciation, no idea. A vibrant community built into the walls of this sacred geological depression. Directly above Center Sanctuary is the dust prism, which stores the nanodust you will collect. I think it's interesting that it's referred there as a depression. That's a perfectly accurate tone for it, but there are other terms that could have been used. And I think depression has some other resonances that are relevant. You may use the dust drop console in Center Sanctuary to deposit dust. Once sealed within the dust prism, the nanodust may blossom to its full scale without harming New Theland. Once enough dust is accumulated in the dust prism, it will be sent to the Center to be recycled into energy. But alas, before you were born, the dust prism was damaged in a terrible storm, and now it can only contain a small fraction of its full dust capacity. Because of this energy shortage, the dust's dominion has advanced to the point where it is no longer safe to leave the city. You can see the storm still raging overhead. This is where you come in, Nova. The dust prism can be reinforced with rare and powerful cards that you can find while nano-cleaning. Your first goal is to reinforce the prism with 4 cards and fill it with 100 cc of dust. Then the Center will be able to recycle the dust into energy and push back the storm, allowing you to leave Center City Cenote. To sum it up, your mission is to search the city for people in need of cleaning, collect the dust and cards inside of them, then deposit those resources back in Center Sanctuary. Check your progress on the menu by pressing the menu button. You're going to do an amazing job, Nova. Okay, so we're out in the city. There's a bunch of stuff we can do. Yeah, dust is bad, it corrupts people, exaggerating their emotions, turning them from the true path of devotion to the Center. The Center can harvest dust and turn it into energy to push back the dust. So there's some fairly obvious religious stuff going on. That's the story we're being told. And we'll explore the city next time.